Aloha Lava Watchers! Since our last report on January 9th, Kilauea delivered episode 40, and now the big question is, does the earthquake swarm occurring at the summit mean there will be no episode 41? We'll find out in this Hawaii Volcano Watch Report for January 21st, 2026. Before we begin, remember to watch my live 24/7 Kilauea Monitoring stream so you do not miss the subtle precursors and the moment the next episode kicks off. The link is pinned in the comments below. Now, let's get started. Since my last update, we saw episode 40 begin on the morning of Monday, January 12th. Sustained lava fountaining ramped up from the north vent and peaked at roughly 800 feet or 250 meters high. The south vent remained active, spattering and produced stone fountains, but did not sustain a fountain during this episode. Tephra fell mainly on the western and southern rim areas of Hawaii, and the eruption plume rose to over 13,000 feet or 4,000 meters above ground level. As expected, during active fountaining, sulfur dioxide emissions surged into the tens of thousands of tons per day. By the next day, episode 40 was over, and the volcano returned to a pause state. Even so, the summit did not go quiet. For several days afterwards, webcams continued to show glowing vents, scattered incandescents, and occasional ooze-outs from the fresh lava on the crater floor as it cooled. Now, let's talk about what matters mostly today, what the summit is doing right now, and whether another fountain episode is building. Starting with the tremor and vent glow, the pattern has stayed consistently alive. Through the week, HVO noted ongoing low-level tremor and frequent tremor spikes. Early on, those spikes occurred every 5 to 10 minutes, which HVO linked to gas piston behavior in the vents. More recently, tremor has been described as relatively constant at low levels. Vent glow has also remained persistent, but it has shifted back and forth between the north and south vents on different days. For example, we have seen periods with stronger glow from the south vent and weaker glow from the north vent, and then, more recently, a return to intense glow from the north vent with intermittent glow from the south vent. Next, deformation, because that is the backbone of the timing story. After episode 40 ended, the summit returned to inflation. UWD tilt increased day by day, climbing from just a couple of microradians earlier in the week to 14.4 microradians of inflationary tilt since episode 40 by this morning, January 21st. The catch is that the inflation has not been perfectly smooth. Repeated earthquake swarms have occurred beneath the summit region, and several of those swarms have been accompanied by a small, brief tilt drop or short deflationary pulses that temporarily interrupted the inflation curve. That brings us to the earthquake swarms, which were a central theme from January 13th through today. HVO described multiple clusters of small quakes, generally less than magnitude 2, and often located beneath the southeast part of the Hawaii and into the southern caldera region. With many events occurring at depths of a few kilometers, these swarms tend to last minutes to under an hour, and HVO's interpretation is that they reflect migrating magmatic pressure within the summit system. The critical point is this: HVO does not know whether these swarms directly control the timing of the next fountaining episode. Still, the tilt drops accompanying some swarms can slow net inflation, thereby delaying the start window. You can see that effect clearly in the forecast changes over this stretch. Right after episode 40, HVO said the next episode was likely about 2 weeks away, but they needed more data. As the inflation trend developed and the swarms continued, the forecast window narrowed and they shifted day by day. It moved through ranges like January 19th to January 25th, then January 20th to the 25th, then January 21st to the 25th, then January 22nd to the 26th. And as of today, the most likely window is now January 23rd to the 26th. The reason given is straightforward. Those deflationary pulses tied to swarm activity can effectively push the schedule back. Gas is the last significant piece. After episode 40 ended, SO2 dropped back down to typical pause range, about 1,000 to 5,000 tons per day. HVO measured summit SO2 around 1,550 tons per day in mid-January, which fits a pause but still degassing pattern that remains far below eruptive episode rates. Outside the summit, nothing has changed. Kilauea's East Rift Zone and Southwest Rift Zone remain quiet the entire time, with very low seismicity and deformation, and SO2 stayed below detection limits. So, what is the takeaway for January 21st? Kilauea is paused, but it is clearly recharging. The vents are glowing, the low-level tremor persists, inflation is ongoing, and the forecast window for the subsequent lava fountaining episode is now January 23rd through the 26th. The leading wildcard has been the repeated summit earthquake swarms, which have caused small deflationary steps that can slow the climb towards the next episode. Bottom line for today, the volcano still looks on track for another fountaining episode, but the system is doing so in a stop-and-go rhythm. If inflation resumes more steadily without those deflationary pulses, the odds improve that the next episode begins within the current window. If swarm activity keeps interrupting tilt, that window could slip again. And that is your Hawaii Volcano Watch Report for today. Mahalo for watching and have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening.